All right, we're talking about the hip hinge today and movements to help us warm up for that. I want you to kind of think of warm-up movements as an assessment, sort of like your self-check of where you are for the day. Whether your workout is early in the morning and you haven't really moved around much for the day, or if you're showing up after work or school for the day, your body's in a different state than it was yesterday based on what you did today or how you slept last night or what happened yesterday after your workout. So the assessment that we're using as a warm-up is also kind of a way to check in with where your body is for that day and get it ready for what you're gonna put it through during your workout. So we're gonna start with our hip hinge assessment, which looks like this. Usually we use the wall for this, but during the warm-ups you don't need to have everybody on the wall. You can just have everyone standing with their feet about shoulder width apart. And what we're looking, if you are using the wall, it's about a foot behind you. Hands are on the thighs, and you're just gonna bring the hips back as flat as you bring the hands down toward the knees. What we're looking for here is the ability to keep the spine straight as it tilts forward as the hips move behind the heels. So hips go back stays straight. You can notice the knees are bending, but they haven't moved. They're not coming forward. My shins are still pretty vertical, and they haven't done any of this kind of stuff. Remember, in a squat, the hips go down. In a deadlift or hip hinge, the hips are moving back primarily. So we're looking for that. So we can practice that. Hands towards the knees to start with. And then as we get a little bit looser, we can also try to come with the hands down a little lower, preparing to lift the bar or the kettlebell. Then we're going to also work on a single leg deadlift, in which the hips stay square to the floor. We're going to stand on my right leg and kick my left leg behind me. So my left leg is pretty locked out, my heel's kind of driving back, shoulders, hips, belly, everything facing the floor. And I'm going to hinge from my right hip and come into that single leg deadlift. You come down as far as you need to feel a little bit of a balance challenge and a little bit of maybe stretch work in the hamstring. And that's as far as I'm going for today. Again, that's today. That's what's going on with my body today. Belly straight, back is flat, straight line, shoulder, hip to knee on that line. We don't want to see any of this like opening up this way, which makes the balance a little easier. But again, we're trying to challenge stability in that standing hip by keeping a shelf, square pelvis back there. The other one we can work on here is a side lunge. So we're going to start with the feet wider apart, then the shoulders, hips are facing forward. You're going to bend one knee, and that back leg that's not bending stays nice and straight and locked out. This knee is in this right leg's in a hip hinge right now. This knee is over my ankle, not coming in or out in this plane, and that's not going forward and back in this plane. Drive through that heel, straighten up, and side again. So we're starting with this, so we don't have to worry about balance and momentum. We're in this nice stable base to start with that side lunge. It also works really well as a hip opener for the stretching all the muscles around the hip joint, getting some lubrication through the joint itself for the morning or in the evening. If your legs are nice and wide like this, so I'm just going to show you from the side. That left side is in that same hip hinge that it was a minute ago in our prep drill. The knee is vertical, the shin is vertical right over that ankle, and the hip has moved back. The way that we can progress this is to add a little more movement to it. So then we're going to go into that step stance and back up. Now, of course, that left leg that's bending for me right now has to work on stabilizing me as I get into my lunge, and it has to power me back to this narrower base. The next way that we can progress that is to add a post. So we're going to go side lunge to post up, high knee, don't fall. Side lunge to post up, high knee. So the reason that's challenging balance-wise is your neurologic system is getting fired up and wrapped around these exercises that you're going to do. Have fun with the hip hinging.